and welcome to No Tactics. I'm Oscar.
And I'm Tom.
And in this video, we're going to talk about our top 10 football player catfishes. These are players who've maybe scored in their debut, and there was a lot of hype, and then they did absolutely nothing. Or they might have had a memorable moment, and then just vanished into obscurity. Let's kick things off with number 10, and we're going to talk about Mykhailo Mudryk. Now, this might be a harsh one to kick things off, but I think he had so much hype at the time. I was in the bathroom, on the toilet, watching Ukrainian Football League highlights because Mudryk was the next big thing. He actually went on to move to Chelsea, not Arsenal, and I was absolutely livid. I was like, why have we not signed this absolute superstar? He looked like Ballon d'Or potential. Even Robert De Zerbi said that, and he can back me up there. On his debut, he looked electric. He looked like he had X Factor about him. He looked like he had that je ne sais quoi bonjour about him. He genuinely looked like he could do something.
Absolutely. I think he was probably one of those people that had all the gear, no idea. He was very talented on the ball, but when you actually put him on the pitch, didn't really bring it.
He has pace.
Yeah.
But since that moment, since genuinely a 45-minute cameo against Liverpool, he's not really lived up to the potential or the hype. And I think Chelsea fans now would probably agree that he has been a flop signing. And yeah, ultimately, a catfish. Number 9.
This man is close to my heart. It's Macheda. Federico Macheda. And he was one of the players that came through the United Academy that everyone was talking about. Every player, everyone in Europe was talking about this young player. And he was an incredible winger that came on the pitch and made a massive difference into us winning the title race. Everyone was expecting him to be the next Ronaldo.
He had the hair.
He had the hair, he had the look, he was just silky on the ball, and that goal was beautiful.
Last minute against Aston Villa, it was a clutch moment that won you the title. Everyone thought he is going to be our guy.
And he didn't. No. He wasn't our guy.
You're not that guy.
He was someone that, after a few failed loan moves, I think ended up going to Greece. Mm-hmm. I think he's still playing somewhere, but Federico Macheda was not the next Ronaldo. He was just a player that didn't really make it, unfortunately.
R.I.P. Number 8, we have Willian.
For Fulham?
No, for Arsenal. But it was against Fulham. And at the time, I was gassed because for Chelsea, he was, not an underrated player, but he was a solid Barclays player for Chelsea. He'd won many titles there. And actually, I think Chelsea fans at the time probably felt quite aggrieved that they sold him to us. And, I thought he was going to be a good squad player and actually deliver for us.
Well, that's all a lie. Nope.
And, yeah, I thought I was right after this first game. He got a hat-trick of assists. I thought, you know what? We've got an absolute steal here. Where did we finish that season?
Top 5?
8th.
Oh.
And I've got a conspiracy here now that actually he only moved to Arsenal so he could still look after his restaurant. Because there's a restaurant in London, didn't you know that?
I didn't.
Terrible restaurant, poor hygiene ratings. I'm never going to that restaurant again. And I've just heard that there's been some Arsenal fans who've just been leaving bad reviews. I think that's incredibly petty. But yeah, don't go to that restaurant, terrible food. Number 7, we have Adnan Januzaj.
Oh, he's another young player that United really, really expected a lot from. I think coming through under Moisey, if Moisey had stayed in charge, would we have seen another Januzaj? Possibly, I'm not too sure. But obviously he came into the team, scoring 2 goals against Sunderland, and then the following season even inherited Ryan Giggs' iconic number 11.
Give it Giggsy to the end of the season.
But did that make him the player that Ryan Giggs was?
No.
No, he didn't. It wasn't anywhere near what we expected from him after that first game.
He's like a little kid lost in a shopping centre.
He was in and out of the team. He was dropped a few times, and then he was sent out on a few loans. And then finally, I think he's in Europe still, but I can't really see him being the player that we all expected him to be when he came on the pitch that time. So unfortunately for you, Adnan Januzaj, you were scuppered by United changing their managers so often.
What a prank!
So apologies to you.
Catfish. Number 6, we have Alvaro Negredo. Great name. And actually looked like a great player when he first joined City. Scored quite a few goals in his debut season, but massively fell off at the second half of the season and didn't really make much of a difference. And I guess at the time everyone thought, well, he's going to be a good player to partner Sergio Aguero. And yeah, I think we were kind of misled. But yeah, end of the season, he wanted to leave. He said that his daughter, noticeably, was losing her tan. He said that she couldn't sit in the darkness no longer. And actually, he terminated his contract and left Man City and went back to Spain.
It's crazy.
And I think, Alvaro, if you're watching this, just look at the weather, mate. You can already tell Manchester there's no sunlight. Not anymore. Number 5. Who do we have?
I feel like we're just speaking about Man United players, or I'm just speaking about Man United players in this video.
Sometimes maybe shit. Sometimes maybe shit.
We have Anthony.
Anthony. Oh.
We have the 360 maestro. We have the player that came into the squad for a huge amount of money, 85 million I think it was, under Eric Ten Hag, which obviously Eric Ten Hag is now gone. R.I.P. But yeah, 85 million for a player that came in and scored a beauty on his left foot in the first game. And you'd expect...
Against our team.
Yeah, against Arsenal. And you'd expect him to go on leaps and bounds from there. You think, well, this player has come in, he's known by the manager, you can't expect him to be bad.
He had a good highlight reel as well, to be fair.
He did, honestly. He was one of those players that you'd have dubstep in the background and just be him doing step overs. And that's all we've seen at United as well. It's him doing step overs and then getting the ball taken away from him.
I mean, that's the problem. He needs to stop having dubstep in his head when he's playing football. Because he just thinks he's in a highlight reel every time he gets the ball. And even when he comes on the pitch, he's just like staring down people like he is him. Anthony, mate, just get back to basics. Play, you know what? Go play left back or right back. I tell you now, you'll be the Ashley Young, you'll be the Enner Valencia of United. Otherwise, you're going to be another Makeda or an Adnan Januzaj. Number 4, we've got Tom.
What do you say fuck me for?
Tom Davies. Tom Davies looked like a really promising youngster for Everton. He had the look as well, with the long sort of greasy hair. I can empathise a lot with that. He then scored an incredible goal. I don't know whether it was for his debut, but very early on in his Everton career, and scored an incredible goal against Man City. Funnily enough, it was actually the Pep Guardiola team in his first season where they didn't do that well. But everyone at the time when he scored was like, oh my god, he's going to be the next English Pirlo. The way he just glided past some of the City players, everyone thought that he was him as well. And where is he now? Well, he's actually, been working in the mines in Sheffield. Shaved off his hair as well, because that's utter white nonsense, having long hair. Who would even do that as a footballer? Unlucky Tom, mate. Number 3, we have Mariano Diaz. What a name for a football player.
I know, absolute FIFA regen.
And I guess if AI was creating a footballer's name, that would be it. He got given the number 7 shirt at Real Madrid.
Hot property, that.
I mean, funnily enough, he was at Lyon, and he got recalled back from his loan from Lyon back to Madrid, and he only ended up scoring against Roma, a credible goal. But then also, he actually scored against Barcelona, like in the last minute of the game. I'm thinking to myself, oh my god, Ronaldo's just reincarnated. We now have Mariano Diaz, but no, I don't even know where he is now. Where are you, Mariano?
We're still looking for you.
Give us a call. Number 2, we have
another United player, but probably the hardest one for me to talk about.
It's okay.
Anthony Martial.
Anthony Martial!
You'd expect a player like Anthony Martial coming out of the Monaco Academy, looking like prime Thierry Henry.
Why is it called a hospital?
To come into Man United and make a massive difference. Huge amounts of height. I think it was 36 million. They even had a Ballon d'Or clause for him. There was a lot that was going for Anthony Martial. And I don't know how we can say about him. Is it that he was very injury prone? Is it that he just couldn't be bothered when he was on the pitch? I think it's a mix of everything. But being a Man United fan for that many years, watching him as our starting number 9, God, it was awful.
There's no passion, there is no vision.
You know who I blame for this? Martin Tyler Had you not got so gassed up when he scored,
Skirtle here. Oh, yes!
I don't think there would have been this much hype and expectation, because everyone thought that he was going to be the next Henry. But funny enough, he actually turned out to be the next Yaya Sanogo.
A motherfucking, down.
Anthony Martial, you were a catfish. Good luck on winning the Ballon d'Or next year. And number 1 on our top 10 catfish football players is...
Drumroll, please.
Ali Dia, the OG prime catfish. And this is an incredible story for those of you watching at home who may not be familiar with the great Ali Dia, which rhymes.
I'm not a rapper.
He was actually recommended from George Weah's agent to Graham Souness, who was managing Southampton at the time. And Graham Souness was like, you know what? Yeah, we'll take a punt on this guy. Signed him. I don't think they were aware of where he was playing at the time. They probably watched a little highlight reel or something. Anyway, moved to Southampton. He came on as a substitute on his debut, had 15 minutes to make an impact. And what an impact he made. They terminated his contract straight afterwards. Realised this guy is not a professional footballer. And I guess the moral of the story, Graham Souness, if you're a victim of catfishing, is just, don't blame it on Paul Pogba. How about you blame it on yourself for being catfished? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is our top 10 greatest catfish players of all time. Thank you for watching. I've been Oscar.
And I've been Tom.
Thanks for watching.
Goodbye.
And you know what I blame? Poor Pogba.